Hey everybody, I hope and pray that you're doing well today as we come to our word from the Word. And today that word is protection. Protection. Now, if you remember picking up from where we left off Friday in Numbers 13, and even mentioned it yesterday in our Sunday sermon, and then today we're in Numbers chapter 14, kind of continuation of the thought of, hey, you have these 12 spies that go out and spy out the promised land and come back. 10 of them come back with a negative report. Only Joshua and Caleb come back with a positive report. Now, it's something that's very interesting to me here is that as Joshua and Caleb, or especially Caleb, more vocal about what's going on, in this instance, he says, okay, hey, look, the other 10 of y'all, you're not getting in. And there's going to be some other things happen in this chapter. So let's just look at verses 5 through 10, first of Numbers chapter 14. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their clothes. And they spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, the land we passed through to spy out is an exceedingly good land. If the Lord delights in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against the Lord, nor fear the people of the land, for they are our bread. Their protection has departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not fear them. And all the congregation said to stone them with stones. Now the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of meeting before all the children of Israel. Now, especially there in verse 10, you see that it appears that the presence of God showed up, the glory of God showed up to protect these gentlemen from being stoned. In all of the camp of Israel, it appears that you have 4 people, Moses, Aaron, Caleb, and Joshua, that believed in the promises of God, that also believed in the protection of God. Right? Because remember, it wasn't just that they saw it was a land flowing with milk and honey, but they saw that the people there were giants, and man, the armies are too big, the people are too many, and they're too strong, and all of that. And so instead of focusing on the blessings, they were focusing on the enemy. And when we focus on the enemy, we miss out on the blessings. As you follow through this passage, you will find out that God in his anger is like, I'm going to just wipe you all out. I'm sick and tired of all of this. And Moses intercedes on behalf of the stubborn people and says, but God, if you wipe them out now, think about what all the other nations are going to say. Right? Even Egypt's going to say, well, this powerful God that rescued it from Egypt and told him he was going to take them in the promised land, he couldn't deliver and get them into the promised land, so we just killed them in the wilderness. So then God comes back to Moses and says, okay, I have relented as you have requested, but here's what I'm going to do. Nobody 20 years and up that's here now is going to get into the promised land except Caleb. And it ends up being except Caleb and Joshua. And all of those who who believed the negative report and rebelled against God and didn't want to go in, he said, fine, you won't get in. All those they were getting ready to raise up a leader to take them back to Egypt because they thought that Egypt was better. Their memories of obviously only remembering the glory days, the quote unquote glory days, and not remembering their slavery and suffering and everything they were going through. But the other part of that is, as you read on, the 10 spies that gave a negative report are struck down by the Lord, and only Joshua and Caleb survive. The people argued that, hey, our wives and our children will become plunder to the enemies. And God said, well, since you thought that's what's going to happen, your children, those ones that were going to become plunder, those are the ones that are going to actually get into the promised land instead of you. You will become the plunder of the wrath of God. Now, throughout all of this, had they just trusted in the protection of God as he had told them, the leading of God as he had told them, then not only would their lives have been spared, but they actually would have gained entrance into the full promises of God. The other part, you get to the end and you have some that think, okay, well, hey, we messed up. They get up the next day. You know what? We're going to go on to the land that we're supposed to go to. And then they warn them and say, hey, don't go. I believe it's Joshua that tells them, don't go. because God's not with you. The ark didn't leave, so the presence of God didn't leave, and you are going out wandering on your own path, and they go, and guess what happens? They get defeated and killed by the enemy. Now, that's the key. The key about the protection of God. I'll put it to you this way, and then this will kind of close out our time today. I often use the illustration of the shield of faith in Ephesians 6, right? We have the shield of faith. Well, a shield does a great job protecting, and faith protects us from those things. It's what's overcome the world, right? Our faith in Jesus Christ. But faith and that shield only does you any good if you get behind it, right? I can say I have faith, but if I lay it down, then I am unprotected. And that's kind of what's going on here, is that when the people had faith in themselves, they laid the shield of God down and tried to handle it on their own, and they failed and paid for it, very much so. Paid for it with their lives. But like Joshua and Caleb, and especially those two, that they stood and stood behind their God. They stood behind the faith that they had in Him and what He said He was going to accomplish. So today I would simply ask you, are you trusting in the promises of God? And are you trusting in the promises of God? The protection of God. Sorry. Are you having faith, walking in faith in the promises of God and in the protection of God? And the only way you can have both is to have faith. Today, have faith in God. God bless you. And I pray you have a great, great day.